everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads. And today I'm going to finally get to my wrap up for February. I just had a rough start to the month, and so I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I thought I would go ahead and at least let you guys know what I read and what I thought of them. I might not go into too much on anything, but I did read 12 books in February. And I had 5 3-stars and 7 4-stars. So overall, it wasn't a really bad month or anything. And I'm gonna go ahead and just go from my least favorites to more of favorites, even though I don't have any like favorites, but they were just the ones that I liked more. And so to start off, I'm going to talk about Carrie by Stephen King. I wasn't a really big fan of this one. I gave it 3 stars because overall it was interesting, but for the most part it was kind of boring. And it's put in 3 different sections, and instead of chapters, it's just got these sections. So it was like really long sections without chapters. I hate that. But the first one is all about what happens to her in the beginning, with the kids, the girls making fun of her and everything. And a lot of that stuff just went on and on and on, and it was just boring. And then the stuff leading up to the prom night and everything was pretty interesting, where she gets her revenge and stuff. But other than that, I just didn't really find it all that interesting. I kind of enjoyed the movie better than the book, I guess. It was a short one, so, and this was like my retro read, because me and my friend Barb, we always, every other month, we try to read like a retro horror, and so this was mine. And yeah, 3 stars isn't bad, but I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little bit better. And I know I might be of unpopular opinion, but yeah, this wasn't really for me. And then the next one I have is 8 Cylinders by Jason Parent, and I got this from the author for review. And it's a really short one, and parts of this one was interesting, and other parts it was just kind of boring, and it seemed like it took forever for a little book to get to the ending. But it's about a man who's like fleeing from a shootout. And he gets hit, and he's in this real fancy car, and he's speeding off, and he's losing blood and kind of passes out or whatever. And when he wakes up, he's in this other place. It's kind of like maybe a different dimension or something. And there's these tentacle things that keeps people in that area where they're at. Like, they can't ever leave it. And he finds that there's like several people there. And yeah, he wants to try to figure out how to get out of there. And so yeah, it's real short, like I said. But yeah, 3 stars. I mean, it was okay, but there's parts of it were a little boring. And then I read The Boy Who Failed Show and Tell by Jordan, I think it's Solenbrecher or something like that. I forgot to write down that name. And I got this one for review from Scholastics. It was an e-arc, so I'll put it up here. And basically it is kind of like a comical true story of the author's 4th grade experience. And if this is really what he experienced there in 4th grade, he had quite an adventure, from a pregnant snake that he thought was a male, but it ended up being a female, and had a whole bunch of snakes, to a really nasty teacher, and just all kinds of stuff was happening to him and everything. It was okay, just it wasn't very wowing, so I gave it 3 stars because it was okay, and I think kids would like it. And then I read Don't Move by James S. Murray and Darren Wearmouth. And I got this one as an e-arc from Blackstone, and I got this last year, and I just had never gotten to it, so me and my friend Barb decided to buddy read it, and it was about a group that goes camping, and they end up in the wrong area because the guy who is driving the van thinks he knows where he's going, and he ends up taking them to the wrong place. And in this place there is a giant spider, and so the basis is that there's these spider webs like all over, and so if you end up hitting one, it vibrates and everything so that the spider knows where you are. And so the best thing you can do is not move, so don't move. And stuff. And it's just about a group of them trying to figure out how to get out of it. And I enjoyed it up until the very end. And that's like with a lot of horror books. The ending is really a sink. It either sinks it or does really good. And this one, I just didn't like how it ended. And I was liking it up until like the last like probably page or so. And then it was like, no, I didn't like that. But it is still okay. 3 stars. Then the next one is Children of Chicago by Cynthia Palaio. And I got this as an e-arc from Polis Books. And this one is kind of like a Pied Piper retelling of sorts with kids dying. And there's a detective who is trying to figure out what happened. And it's got a bit of a supernatural twist to kind of like a crime novel. I kind of thought of this as more of a crime novel with horror elements and everything. It wasn't real scary or anything. And I wasn't a huge fan of how the author decided to portray her police woman. In this day and age, there's just certain things you shouldn't do, I think, in books when it involves police. And it had this police stereotype in here that I just didn't really care for. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. It kind of ends as if there could be another one. But, I mean, it ends okay, but it also ends as in maybe the author's left it open to if she wants to write another one. I don't know. If she does, I may read it. I don't know. And then the next one was The Girl from Silent Lake by Leslie Wolfe. And I got this as an e-arc from Bookature. It's one of my favorite UK publishing companies. And this is about FBI agent Kay Sharp. She's taking some time off from being an FBI agent to when her brother calls and says that he's in trouble and that he's going to be going to prison. And it's kind of like, you know what that means? And so she's like, yeah. So she has to come and stay at his house. And it's like the whole time you're like wondering, what's the big deal about staying at the house? And you find out more about that as it goes on. But while she's there, she's a profiler and she gets involved in helping solve a serial murder with one of the detectives in the town and everything. And I enjoyed this. Again, it had an element about this FBI agent that I'm just not a big fan of. And I can't really say without spoiling, but yeah, I gave it 4 stars, but yeah, that was just something. But this is the beginning of a series, and so I am willing to try the next one to see if I'm going to enjoy it or not. But I did like this. It's just that one little thing that kind of irked me a little bit, but I think I can get over it. And then the next one is Killer Comfort Food by Lynn Cahoon, and this is number 5 in the Farm to Fork Cozy Mystery series. I got this as an e-arc from Kensington, and this one is about Angie, who's dealing with a soybean processing plant who's buying up a bunch of land around her, and they really want to buy her farm. And she uses, and that's her Nana's farm that she inherited, and she wants to keep it, and she likes using it because she has her restaurant and she uses the food that she has there for it. That's why it's like the Farm to Fork. And she doesn't really want to lose that, so she's having to deal with that. So meanwhile, she is trying to find a missing person that a friend has asked her to look into, and that gets her involved in a mystery that kind of involves the processing plant a little bit. And so, yeah, it was pretty good. This one's not my favorite of Lynn Cahoon's cozy mystery series. My favorite being the Tourist Trap, and my next to favorite being the Cat Latimer series. But this one is quickly kind of growing into maybe the third, the third slot and everything. So I am liking it. Every time I read another one, I enjoy it a little bit more. And so yeah, so I'll give it 4 stars. And then I also read Bells, Spells, and Murder by Carol J. Perry, which is number 7 in the Witch City Cozy Mystery series. This one is about Lee Barrett's now a new field reporter. And while she's covering a story that's interviewing a beloved chairman of a popular walking tour in Salem, it's the Salem's historical district. He's found dead, and she can't help but, try to figure out what's going on. And this one is set in Christmas time, and so there's some Santas and things like that, and it was kind of interesting. And I really enjoy this one. It has a little bit of supernatural, but not a whole lot. I mean, it is in Salem, so we have to have our witches, but it's not a huge prominent thing. Like, Lee is a scryer, so she can look in something shiny and kind of see a little bit into the future, which sometimes is a hindrance and sometimes it's a good thing because it does help her try to solve the mysteries and everything. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing for her, because sometimes it happens when she's like in the middle of reporting something, so that's not good. And then the next one is I listened to Like It's 1999 by Karen Gray, and this is 2.5 of the Boston Classics, and I got this from the author review, and it was really short. Like, it was like not quite a 3-hour listen, and it was just pretty much the love story between Love 'em and Leave 'em Alice and Hot Steve. And they are 2 characters that you meet in the other books and everything, and so it's kind of how they first met at Will and Kate's wedding, and they really hit it off, but they're very different. Like, Alice doesn't like to attach herself to anybody and stuff, but they really hit it off. But then they kind of go their separate ways, and so it's like they don't meet again until 10 years later, when it's the Kate and Will's 10th anniversary kind of thing. And so you kind of get to see how things go with them during that period, and the ups and downs they have in their personal and their career and stuff until they meet again type thing. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I kind of wished it would have been a little bit longer, because Hot Steve was one of my favorites from the first book. He was a side character, and I just really liked him. So I would have kind of liked to have a little bit longer book, but it was still cute. And the next one is Virgin River by Robin Carr, and this is number 1 in the Virgin River series. My friend and I, we really liked the Netflix series, and so we wanted to check out the books. And we are finding that the books are very different. They are very light and fluffy compared to the drama that happens on Netflix. So they're totally different. So if you ever want to check out the books, just note that they are very different. But it's about Mel, who she needs a change of scenery to try to get over the death of her husband. It's been like a year or so, and she's still kind of stuck in a rut. So she takes a job as like a midwife and everything in Virgin River, and she was kind of deceived by Hope on how well the cabin that she was supposed to be staying in was, and so she gets a little mad. She's decided maybe she doesn't want to stay in Virgin River, but she meets Jack, and Jack is kind of smitten with her right off the bat, And so he does his best to try to convince her that she should stay in Virgin River. And it was really cute. Like I said, it's definitely a lot fluffier than the drama between Mel and Jack on the Netflix show. That is for sure. But I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. And then the next book I have is Hedgehog of Oz by Corey Leonardo. And this was a super cute middle grade book that's kind of mirrors a Wizard of Oz, if you couldn't tell by the title. And this is Marcel, and these are his, like, little people. That's like kind of like Glinda the Good Witch. It's a little moth. And then you've got the cowardly lion type character here. You've got the Scarecrow, and you've got the Tin Man, because he has a heart that doesn't work right. It's rusted. He's a grouchy old squirrel. And then you've got the Wicked Witch Owl here. And so, yeah, so it kind of mirrors that. And it was a really cute little adventure about Marcel, who gets separated from the 2 hens that he's been living with in the Emerald City Theater, and he is trying to find his way back, and they are following a path. It doesn't show it here, but it's really shiny, sorry. In the beginning, there is a paint path that this truck that had him in it dropped some yellow paint, and they were following that, and then they had to kind of go off on their own and use their noses and stuff to try to figure out how to get back to the Emerald City Theater. And so, yeah, super cute. The only thing I think this is lacking is there's no illustrations or anything. And I think it would have been great if it would have had some illustrations of some of the antics and things that happened with them. That would have been, like, really, really fun. But I got this as an ARC from Simon & Schuster. And so, yeah, I'm really glad that I got to read it because it was cute. So the last book that I have to talk about is Puppy Kisses by Lucy Gilmore, and this is number 3 in the Forever Home series, and I got it as an e-arc last year from Sourcebook, and I'm just now getting to it because I'm bad. And anyway, this one is about Dawn, and she's the last of the Vasquez sisters that has not gotten married, and she's kind of the middle child, so she's kind of stuck in between the really strict sister and the sister who was really super sick as a child. And sorry if you can hear the little dog downstairs. She's whining because my dad just left. And anyway, so she was always, her younger sister was always sickly. So she kind of learned her, like, coping mechanism was to just be the fun one, the one who never settles down, the one that goes from man to man. She just really wants to have fun and not get bogged down by anything. And she gets in a bit of trouble at the beginning because she rescues this little golden retriever puppy who was being mistreated, and she talks Zeke into helping her. And as they're trying to get away from the owner that owned it, the police catch them or after them because they're speeding. So they run to Zeke's brother's house. He's a rancher, and he's also has a sight impairment and everything. And she's been needing to try to get him to get a service dog, but he's kind of grouchy and doesn't want one. And so they kind of pawned this little dog off. That was the excuse they gave the policeman, was why they were speeding, because they were trying to get this dog to him and everything. And of course, Adam is going to be the love interest in the book. And it was a lot of fun. Dawn, she always can put a positive spin on everything. And so even though she tries to protect her heart a lot by that and everything, she still has some pretty funny moments that really make you laugh. And Adam, You know, Adam actually has liked Dawn for a while because he named one of his really stubborn cows Dawn. So it was kind of funny when Dawn the person was scolding Dawn the cow because it got out, and it was just kind of funny. And there was just things like that that I really liked. So that one made that was my probably most favorite book out of the month and everything. They got 4 stars too. And so that's pretty much everything that I read in the month of February. This probably wasn't the best wrap up, but at least you know what I read and how I liked them and everything. And check out my new glasses. I got some new glasses. Kind of like them. It's taken me a while to get used to the new prescription though. Yeah. Haven't had new glasses in a while and my eyes have changed quite a bit. Okay. Anyway, so I hope you liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.